Find my darn microphone. There we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to some more Malice Reacts. We're going to get everything cornered away this week. So, without any further ado, this week's episode of the Paranormal Files, Skinwalker Village. I believe this is actually a location the twins have also done before. It's a series of ruins out near the Skinwalker Valley and out near the ranch and all that other good stuff. Actually, I think it might be... what are the mountains? They just visited them recently. Dang it, my brain doesn't want to remember. But the Superstition Mountains. I think it might be out near that area, but my geography is way off, so I can't say for sure. But it is out in the desert, much like that, and much like that, the area is well believed to be haunted. So, without any further ado, we'll have a look at what the Skinwalker Village has in store for Colin and Connor here. So the boys are out and about in the deep heat. So without any further ado, first I'd like to remind you all that you can catch the original video in the description down below. You can also catch links down there for our socials, our live stream channel, and for our merch store, where you can find lovely little shirts like this one with myself on it, and as well as a couple other designs that we have put up there. And do consider purchasing them. They don't give us any much profit. Like, we only take like maybe $2-3 off each item that you purchase. But every little bit helps. And also, buying merch helps spread word. And spreading the word also greatly helps our channel. So thank you very much for your patronage. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for also pushing us up to the point where we are 20 subscribers away from 1K. So do please consider joining us here. Every little bit helps. Trying to hit that 1K goal. And do comment down below if you have any ideas of what you want to see from us for a 1K special. Otherwise, we'll have to cook something up ourselves. We can come up with something, I'm sure. But without any further ado, let us begin the Skinwalker Village. Let's go. I'm also currently out of snacks. We are down to a Pepsi. That's all I got.
In May of 2025, Connor and I set forth into the Nevadan desert in search of skinwalkers. The location we were headed to is known as Fort Churchill. It's a pretty infamous place in Nevada history. In this video, you're going to see some things that will shock you. You're going to hear some stories that will disturb you. And you might just see the proof of skinwalkers that you've been searching for. This investigation was terrifying. We were all alone, out in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the desert, surrounded by the pitch black of night, in an area supposedly haunted by some of the most evil beings known to man, the Skinwalker. Driving out there that
their
evening,
talk
I
card
couldn't
did
help
say
but
that they actually
notice
caught something on
how
footage,
desolate
so
the area was,
be interesting.
how cut off it seemed from the rest of the world. And once we got out of our vehicle, we noticed something else. It was completely silent, too silent. That evening, we were investigating Fort Churchill in Nevada. Today's video was brought to you by the team behind the upcoming horror film Weapons. I don't think I've been as excited for a film in a long time.
Actually, I'm curious
Check out
about
the new
Weapons.
trailer now.
This is a true story that happened right here in my nurse and into the dark. Ways in the story. You're not gonna find it in the news.
Are you watching?
What the
Are you
hell?
watching? Are you watching?
Like, I'm not sure how much to show, because technically not my trailer and all that. That looks wild. Okay.
What?
Taking off fast.
I mean, that's kind of weird though, right? What? A police chopper out here? Like, what the?
Maybe
we aren't
somebody's
near any
lost.
town or city at all, dude.
Yeah.
Look at it's
Where-
going like toward. It's hovering by the mountains, bro.
You think it's a rescue team?
I don't know, but that's pretty strange, dude. Like a police chopper out here.
I mean, we're like an hour away from the closest city.
Yeah, we're like exactly 58 minutes from Reno. Like, look at that thing, dude. It's actually going deep into the mountain area.
Pretty freaky.
It's just really odd. Look at it.
It's so silent out here.
But look at it. It's still... The camera's not focusing on it. But there it is.
Hey guys, it's me, Connor. Sorry for the shitty quality on the cameras this trip. I left one of the camera bags at home.
Yeah, so I've had to get creative. We did some back of the car B-roll because we don't have a drone. We don't have our other camera. But right now we're at a place that has been called online Skinwalker Village. But this is Fort Churchill. So, briefly, before we investigate, a little bit of history. In the mid-1800s, the Nevada desert was a crucible of conflict, where the relentless sun scorched the earth and tensions between Native Americans and settlers simmered. The Paiute, Shoshone, and Washoe tribes had long thrived in this harsh landscape, but the 1859 discovery of the Comstock lode brought a flood of miners and settlers in, hungry for silver and gold. These newcomers to the area cut down pinyon trees, vital for the Paiutes' food supply, and claimed water sources as their own, which pushed the tribes towards starvation. The fragile coexistence between the new settlers and the local indigenous peoples shattered on May 6, 1860, at Williams Station, a trading post along the Carson River near Fort Churchill, where the proprietors and owners of the store committed a heinous act, kidnapping and assaulting 2 young Paiute girls. Enraged, a band of Paiutes and Bannocks descended upon the station and forced 5 men, Oscar Williams, David Williams, Samuel Sullivan, John Fleming, and a man named Dutch Phil, inside of the building before setting it ablaze. Their screams swallowed by the flames as the burning heat consumed their bodies. The smoldering ruins of Williams Station marked the beginning of the bloody Paiute War, a conflict that would bathe the region in blood. This act of retribution was a spark that ignited an absolute firestorm, drawing the attention of settlers and the U.S. Army alike. The news of the Williams Station massacre spread like wildfire through nearby Virginia City, where fear and fury gripped the mining community. Major William Ormsby, a prominent figure, rallied a volunteer militia of 105 men from Virginia City, Carson City, Genoa, and Gold Hill, determined to punish the Paiutes for that massacre at the trading post. On May 12, 1860, the militia marched toward Pyramid Lake under a blistering sun, their horses kicking up clouds of dust that stung their eyes. Poorly armed and disorganized, these men were unaware of the trap awaiting them. As they pursued a small group of Paiutes into a narrow ravine along the Truckee River, the air erupted with war cries as 200 to 300 Paiute warriors, led by Chief Namaga, sprang from their hiding spots among the rocks and sagebrush. Arrows and bullets tore through the militia, and chaos reigned as men crumpled, their blood spilling and pooling into the dry earth. Major William Ormsby fell early, his body only one among the 76 lifeless militiamen that ended up scattered across the battlefield, while the survivors fled in panic, pursued for 20 miles through the desert by the relentless and bloodthirsty Paiutes. The slaughter at Pyramid Lake sent shockwaves through the territory, prompting settlers to demand federal intervention to quell the indigenous uprising. Colonel John C. Hayes and Captain Joseph Stewart assembled a formidable force of volunteers and regular army troops, determined to crush the Paiute resistance. On June 2, 1860, in what's now known as the Second Battle of Pyramid Lake, these groups clashed with the Paiutes along the Truckee River, killing approximately 160 indigenous warriors and forcing the survivors to scatter across the Great Basin. And in order to prevent further conflicts and help secure this region, the United States Army then established Fort Churchill, where we were investigating that evening, in July of 1860, along the Carson River. Named for Inspector General Sylvester Churchill. Built with adobe bricks, the fort boasted barracks, officers' quarters, a hospital, and other facilities, housing up to 200 soldiers who guarded the Pony Express and telegraph lines. The fort's imposing presence stood as a symbol of federal authority, a bulwark against the chaos of the frontier. The fort's construction marked a turning point in this conflict between the settlers and the local indigenous tribes, as the United States government suddenly asserted their control over a land torn by violence and stained by blood. Life at Fort Churchill was an absolutely grueling ordeal, where soldiers faced the unrelenting desert climate, the heat, the cold temperatures at night, and the ever-present threat of attack. Scorching summers gave way to freezing winters, and the extreme isolation of the remote outpost weighed heavily on the men. They drilled tirelessly, preparing for conflict, maintained the adobe structures, and patrolled the surrounding desert, always wary of indigenous ambushes. The fort was a key base during the Snake War, a series of conflicts with the Northern Paiute, Shoshone, and Bannock tribes. In 1865, Lieutenant Colonel Charles McDermott, Fort Churchill's commanding officer from 1863 to 65, led expeditions in the nearby areas to suppress indigenous resistance, engaging in many skirmishes that left bloodstains on the Nevada sands and a trail of bodies from local indigenous tribes. On August 7, 1865, while campaigning near the Quinn River, Lieutenant Colonel Charles McDermott was ambushed and killed by the indigenous, his death a stark reminder of the dangers lurking beyond the fort's walls. His loss reverberated through Fort Churchill, underscoring the perilous existence of those stationed here. This was an extremely tumultuous time. The indigenous people didn't want these men here, they didn't want this fortress here, and yet the settlers who had recently arrived in the area had established this fort specifically so that they could squash any rebellions that may arise in the indigenous communities. So, the men were leaving this fort, slaughtering indigenous folks, and coming back to sleep at night. Obviously, there was some negative energy swirling throughout the atmosphere.
I'd say.
But by 1869, the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad and the decline of indigenous resistance rendered Fort Churchill obsolete, which led to its abandonment. The adobe buildings were sold at auction for $750 to a man named Samuel Buckland, and the fort quickly fell into ruin, its walls crumbling under the desert sun. The post cemetery, where soldiers who succumbed to disease or fell in skirmishes were buried, saw 44 graves reinterred to Carson City's Lone Mountain Cemetery in 1885, including that of slain Lieutenant Colonel Charles McDermott. Today, Fort Churchill State Historic Park preserves the ruins, where visitors can wander amongst the weathered adobe remnants and feel the weight of history, which some people claim is alive and well. Interpretive signs and a visitor center recount the tales of conflict and sacrifice, offering a window into a turbulent era. The park and the remaining adobe structures stand as a haunting testament to the bloodshed and cultural clashes, imperialism that shaped Nevada, a silent witness to a frontier forged in blood and fire. Fort Churchill's legacy endures throughout the bloodstained history of Nevada, a reminder of the cost of westward expansion and the lives lost in its pursuit. And like I mentioned before, 44 graves were reinterred, taken out of the Fort Churchill property, and moved to another cemetery. So that means that there were at least 44 men who died at the fort. I couldn't find any information about who they were, how they died, or what exactly happened. But as you can imagine, life at this fortress was incredibly bleak. They were disconnected from the rest of the world, the weather was harsh, I'm assuming the food was terrible, and there was the constant threat for these men of attack. And it's because of this history, because of this negativity, the effects of American imperial colonialism on the local indigenous peoples, that some believe that a Skinwalker at one point was conjured in order to not only try to defend the local lands, but to possibly gain revenge against some of the men housed at Fort Churchill who were heading out to areas surrounding the fort, slaughtering indigenous tribespeople, and then returning back to that area to sleep at night as if nothing ever happened. As you can see, this fort has an extremely dark, hidden history, and that's why we were excited to arrive there that evening to investigate it for ourselves. I've already explained in the video, I believe at this point, what this area is, but we're like kind of way out in the middle of nowhere. This is a park area. Haven't seen any other cars or anybody else around here, but before the sun goes down, we should take a look real quick. Go Going back to the old days. This is our second camera for the night, our static camera. But to be fair, for years we shot the entire show just on these. Didn't even use a Sony or anything.
For a while on one of these.
Yeah, didn't even have 2 cameras, which is nuts. But this is the cemetery here. What's interesting is, so you actually look here at the sign. Basically, this cemetery right here was a place for soldiers that were killed in local battles, those that died from exposure, illness, and hardship. I don't know what that necessarily means. Maybe like starving or even doing something to yourself. I don't necessarily know. But out of the 44 soldiers that were moved out of here and reinterred, they only know the name of one of them. So that's 43 people that died right here in this area, whose identities are completely unknown, lost to time, whose bodies are no longer here. But I don't know. In a lot of people's theories, that would be a recipe for a haunting, you know? It's interesting. I didn't know this beforehand. Today, the old cemetery holds the remains of Samuel Buckland, local rancher and pioneer. Beside him are the remains of his wife, Eliza Ann, and 5 of their 8 children. So there are still 6 people buried here on the fort property. I just find that interesting that they don't know the names of 43 of the 44 soldiers who were moved. These men / women, I don't know what the gender makeup was of those people. They died here, and their
Back
names
then,
were
most likely it was just men.
forever forgotten. Their tombstones
Unless
have
they
worn
happen to
away
have
too
like
much.
a few service women who were like part of the medical service that somehow passed away,
fun little
which
lock
is
right
possible.
Here. But you can see there's one of the headstones there. Oh, unknown soldier. Interesting. So I don't get it. Is there an unknown soldier buried here? When you really think about it, it's like, you know, for all we know, there could be double that amount of people buried in this area that they just didn't know about.
I mean, think of the ones that just died out here and weren't found.
Yeah.
I mean, bodies start decaying, animals start dragging them away.
Yeah. And this area obviously was a hotspot for conflicts with indigenous peoples. And
So what happened
this
to
whole
the
fort,
indigenous bodies,
you know, having
too,
been constructed after the massacres that were occurring in the battles between the indigenous and the white kind of settlers and pioneers out here. So this fort was definitely something that those indigenous folks would have hated. And I get it. I totally understand why. I mean, the genocide of the indigenous peoples, something that we don't talk about a lot in America, that should be talked about more. But it is interesting because there are these allegations that this area
talked
could
about,
be
but I feel like we
a hotspot
shouldn't
for
beat it like
Skinwalker
a
activity.
drum.
But there's also
Constant negativity just harbors more constant negativity.
Explosion almost.
I know,
Doing
like a
what we
deep
can to
boom.
help the indigenous peoples that are still here is honestly
There's,
the best we can do.
44
Instead
people
of
who
just
died
harping
on this
on our
property
mistakes.
recorded,
And not even
and then
our
the
mistakes
rancher
for some
and
cases.
his wife and the 5
Some of us
kids.
didn't
so
even
that
have
makes
relatives here until well after
51
these events had already
deaths
passed.
right here on this land. So whoever's out here, if you're in the cemetery, if you're out here and you can hear our voices, we're just coming to speak with you. We want to talk to you and we want to hear your stories. So please try to come talk to us this evening.
And like he said, no need to be afraid of us. We respect this land. We don't want to harm you. We just want to have good conversation tonight. So please come talk to us and tell us your story.
It really is interesting. It's like so quiet out here and just like still.
I just think about it. Look out this way. And all these mountains out here. And think that there's so much of these mountains that probably no human has ever touched.
Right. It's very eerie.
Beautiful, but eerie. What?
Did you hear that? It sounded like that, like crinkling. So I thought it was like footsteps or something. Look, yeah, here's
Oh, Sam Buckland.
Samuel Sanford Buckland, Eliza Ann, infant, Eliza, 2-day-old infant. That's sad.
Mm.
Charles, he suffered long, but his suffering's o'er. You hear that whistle? Listen. That was like a straight up like Samuel Theodore, just 2 years old. He was for earth too pure a flower. He did not long remain. God took him to his heavenly bower, where we shall meet again. Sanford, 1 year. Wow, a lot of children dying that were very young. 2 days, a year. Yeah, honestly.
2 days to 2 years. Yeah.
No,
Holy
look.
moly. And is there still a soldier out there? I don't know. They have a lot of markers around here.
Daniel Burrier.
Who's he?
I don't know.
Didn't say anything about him on the sign.
Well,
Because I don't think he did.
I think it's time we should head over to the village.
Agree.
It's always crazy to me to think there was a lot more going on at the time, but people coming across America, starting on the East Coast and coming all the way through and seeing how much of the landscape across America changes. I mean, like, you go through Midwest and like all Central America, and it's just flat. And then you come out here. Just imagine trying to find your way across this. Before there was any roads or anything,
Yeah, it had to be like, what the f?
just like you're going until I guess you hit water.
Oh, yeah. You're from New York. What the f?
Ah, yeah, see? I haven't seen water for years.
I'm sure that's exactly what the settlers were saying.
It is.
Wow.
Hey,
It
three
is
skidoo.
pretty though.
And that
Look at
right,
that.
Mosey. Okay, go on to the
Before we
finds
get
of water.
any further, we need to talk a little bit about skinwalkers. About a year ago, I interviewed a friend of mine who has had personal experiences with skinwalkers himself, and I feel that it's important that we get into this interview before we get into the rest of the video, so you really understand what a skinwalker is. There's a lot of misinformation out there, as you probably already know. So sit down, grab a drink, and let's get into some of these spooky skinwalker stories.
I think so. All right. Looks good. Let me get a little closer so I can pick you up better.
Yeah, this is Superstition Mountains here.
Hello, my name is Sean Klin. I'm a Shihinishla, but do Bilagana Bashichi, Kashe, Edashiche, Ado Bilagana, Edashanala. So I introduced my clans, that's where I come from. I'm Navajo, I'm Diné from the Navajo Nation, so I come from up north of where these mountains are here and everything. So I was asked to come do an interview here to kind of shed some light on some of the darker beings that hail from our lands up north, as well as maybe have trickled down to the beings here, or the tribes that are down here more to the south, the Apaches as well. So the stories and lore go back of the Skinwalker. The Yanagloshi is its true name. Throughout the years, Yanagloshi comes out to the terms in English of jumping the skins. So these are essentially, long time ago, they were medicinal people that used to go to sacred mountains, just like this one that's behind me here. In our Navajo Nation, they needed to travel to the 4 sacred mountains really quickly. So to be able to perform a bundle ceremony, which is a sacred ceremony that's used to be able to make these bundles that provide protection for certain family members as well as the tribe and kind of the clan itself. Now, for this ceremony to work, they needed to traverse the land in 4 days. So they needed a quick way. This was before vehicles, helicopters, or anything like that was available. So the spirit people taught them how to shapeshift, how to jump in the skins. Now, it was used for good back in the day, but with goodness always is followed by evil. So goodness and evil both come hand in hand. When it comes to that, you know, they're throughout time, you know, it's a very, very long process to be able to learn how to shapeshift. It takes years, decades to be able to learn how to shapeshift in the good way, to be able to call upon the songs, call upon the spirits, and to be able to shapeshift into whether it be a coyote, whether it be a deer or a cougar or any other animals that were readily available up there in the tribes. But evil kind of came along to some of the weaker minded medicinal people in training and told them, it's like, okay, I could teach you how to do this in a quicker way. So they told them, you can learn how to do this in a very cut decades out of your training and be able to learn how to do it quickly. It came at a cost, unfortunately. To be able to become a skinwalker in the evil way, there's a lot of steps you have to go through, but one of the major ones you have to go through is the sacrificing of one of your loved ones. Once you sacrifice one of your loved ones, it could be your newborn child, your wife, your mother, your grandfather, your sibling, anything like that, one you find dearest, closest to your heart. Now, once you do that, you have to do a lot of stuff with the body. You have to do a lot of ceremonies with it too, to be able to, you know, go really down to make your contract and, in a sense, deal with the devil kind of thing. When it comes down to that, then you also have to get your skin. You have to go and really do a lot of evil things. I guess you can say how they do it in the good way. You have to do it backwards and do a lot of crazy things with it. So when it comes to that stuff, you know, there's a lot of stories that go beyond that. So back in the day, it was also used for wartime too. We used to use it against the Utes. We used to use it against Apaches. We used to use it against the cavalry a long time ago. But as kind of time went on, you know, a lot of the good medicinal people started passing away. That's where the wars of medicinal people kind of started happening. You know, that's where a lot of the good medicine men were starting to get killed off by evil medicinal people as well. So that's where you kind of started to see a lot more of the evil skinwalkers kind of taking more of a foothold in the Navajo Nation. Toward modern day, there's definitely not as many, but I can definitely tell you, all you viewers out there who are from the Navajo Nation probably have a story of you living out in a rural area. Nearest neighbors like 2-3 miles away. You're living in your hogan, no running water or electricity. Middle of the night, you hear something walking on your roof. You hear scratching and all that on your door. So there's a lot of those stories that in modern day kind of run around and all that. So you'll be running around, you'll be driving on the reservation and you see these dark things. You hear their dog whistles, you hear them coming around. So that's one of the things, is it's very there's a coyote right there as I'm talking about this. So, you know, it's one of those things that, you know, even kind of us talking about this, whenever they say in our tribe, it's taboo to talk about them. But when you talk about them, it's, in a sense, you're making a line of communication. In a sense, you're praying to them. Without you kind of knowing, you're opening up that line of communication. That's how they know. They perk up their ears and they hear you like that. They hear you kind of coming around and doing this stuff. So then they'll come to your house. They can witch you, they can kill you. They have this, they're also called grave robbers as well. So they go to a lot of these cemeteries. They go to some family members, they dig them up, they get their bones, whether that be skin or decay, whatever state the body is in. And then they'll grind up the bones. They'll use bone knives, bone darts, or bone ash. They call it washtet. And then they have the ability to paralyze you as well. So when it comes to that, you know, you'll be sleeping in the middle of the night, they'll paralyze you, then they'll put that bone ash on you. And they say if you don't get a ceremony soon, you're going to die of a curse like that. To be able to inhale a human body like that, it's going to get you sick and kill you. So that's one of the things, is like going to war, going to bat with these guys. You know, you always have to say, you don't talk about these guys, but there's always the second part to that, is unless you know how to deal with them. So that's why, like me, myself, and my brother, and then a few other warriors from our tribe, we know how to go against these beings. We know how to protect ourselves. We know the songs and ceremonies to go against the evil prayers, the songs, the curses that they put upon us. So that's why we're able to kind of talk about these beings and everything. Like I said, there's a possibility, mainly they'll be in the Navajo Nation, but there are some who have, I guess you can say, are relatives or married into other tribes, such as this land down here in the Apache lands. So I'm sure the Apaches have their shapeshifters as well. You know, that's why down here, you know, it's not too far away from the Navajo Nation to where there's a possibility of skinwalkers being out here. So that's one thing. You always got to be on your guard wherever you go, and always leave offering, and just be careful not to leave anything behind. You know, they say if you leave your hair, if you leave anything else that's around you, they can gather those objects and they can curse you and witch you after you leave. So that's kind of one of those things. It's like, you know, you would see like a lot of these social media things talk about skinwalkers being all the way in the East Coast, and it's just like, not really. Kind of don't really think it would be a skinwalker. Yeah, there's shapeshifters all over the place, but a skinwalker is a very specific type of shapeshifter. Each tribe, each race and nationality have their shapeshifters and everything. So I encourage you all, wherever you are, you look up whatever religion or race or tribe is in your area. Ask them. You know, I'm pretty sure they have their names. They have their stories and their origins of where those shapeshifters come from.
Not particularly named a walker, but they would
not
have
so
something
long, or not so
similar,
short,
possibly.
but rundown of what Yanagloshis are.
So, have you had experiences with them?
Oh yeah, it's kind of weird to say. I don't know if you guys are kind of like spiritually sensitive to things, but normally when the stories go, when that sun goes down like this is when the spirits start to wake up and everything. So that's why you heard the coyote. And then I don't know, I heard like I had like a little tinnitus. So whenever you have like tinnitus like that, they say that's when spirits are kind of talking with you and everything like that. So
Yeah, dude, that happens all the time in our videos.
Yeah.
Where you say, oh my God, my ear's ringing, and then something will happen right then.
My brother is a medicinal person in our tribe, and so he kind of deals with the more darker side of beings, and whether that be, you know, skinwalkers, demons, if you say in English, kind of darker beings like that. So we used to go to homesteads whenever people would be having these beings kind of affect the family in that way. So we were called out to actually one of our relatives' homestead in northern Arizona, near Page, Arizona. And they told us in this place there was a shack that belonged to one of their grandfathers that passed away. And they always kind of felt something weird about that shack. And they tried asking other medicinal people, hey, can you come and, you know, do a ceremony or prayer to kind of chill out the energies are in there. But for some reason, all the medicinal people would turn them away. They would say, no, that's too dark, that's too evil, I'm not going to go in there. So they called upon us, and we went to go check it out. And this was at the very, I'd had to have been like 14, maybe 16 years old when I was going out with my brother at that age. And this one was really creepy because this was one of my first times. My brother told me, he's like, there's possible skinwalkers, Yanagloshis out there. So I would always hear stories. You know, we kind of trained to be able to go against these beings. And so it's like, okay, this is, you know, this might be the real deal, so be ready. So, okay. So we show up at the house, and the sun was setting just like how it is right now. And we do like a little bit of scouting recon, and we check out the house and everything. We're just like, okay, we're going to start the ceremony when the sun goes down. So we don on our gear, we don on our protections, we do like a little protection ceremony whenever we go against these darker beings. So when that happened, the sun went down, we prepared to go over to the shack and everything. So, but while we were making our way over to the shack, it was very eerie because it was dark, but there was no moon and there was no stars on a clear day. And living out in the reservation, you know, you always see the Milky Way at night. And it was very eerie because there was just an ominous feeling of darkness surrounding you. So that's what my brother said, you know, it's just, this is one of those things to be able to bring fear inside of you. That's what these evil beings feed off of, is that fear. So always stay strong with your prayer and who you are as a person. So I said, okay. So we make our way over to the shed, or the little shack that was there. He told me to wait outside because I wasn't properly trained to deal with cursed objects at the time. I wasn't able to handle them and how they, if they were to jump on me and affect me in that way. So he told me to wait outside. And how they described it, how they told me, is when they opened that door, they saw 3 chests stacked up, like luggage chests. if you can imagine, like early 1900s, kind of 50s leather chests that had like brass fittings on the sides and everything.
Yeah.
So they looked in there, and that's all that was inside of it. So the first chest that they opened up, you know, was just some normal clothes, everything like that. And when they put that chest to the side, my brother told me he felt some real dark energy in the next two. So he looked at me outside the doorway, and what was very creepy about it was because there was no electricity out there. So we parked our vehicles to face the shack. We turned on our headlights, and that was like the only light that you could see. So being in my perspective, you're standing here, you're looking in a truck with its lights blaring at you. You can only see at the rim of the light right there. You can't see anything beyond that. So he told me, he was just like, if there's Skinwalker relics, if there's Skinwalker stuff in here, Yanagloshi stuff, they might want to come and reclaim it. They might not want all the evil prayers and everything that was said and done to be released or get rid of in this area. So he said, be ready just in case something comes running at you. And you would only have, like, it was probably from me, I would have to say about like 10 feet away from me. You would only have that quick amount of seconds to be able to react if something came running at you. So me being one of my first times going out there against Yanagloshis, I was nervous. I was I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of scared. So as they make their way to the second chest that was right there, they opened it up, and you hear a creak kind of open it up. It was really old rusty hinges. And when they opened it, you heard a woman scream. And there was no women in our party at that night. It was just the two homeowners, and normally the men folk kind of go out and handle the evil and darkness that's out there. So that gave me instant chills when I heard a woman scream. So how my brother told me, there was 4 sacred stones inside of there, as well as a picture of a woman, kind of like a Polaroid picture of a woman in there. Now, to this day, we don't really know who it was. We did give it to the authorities, and it wasn't on a missing persons report or anything like that. We asked the family and the relatives, and they said they didn't know who that was. So to this day, we don't really know who that was, but we did say a prayer for whoever it was. If it was kind of a captured lost spirit, lost soul inside of that chest that was right there, we made sure that she went on to a good place. But after that, my brother said this is the last chest that's right here at the bottom. And when they opened that up, you could feel that darkness shoot out of that shack right there. And already, you know, shaken up by the female scream, you know, you can feel that evil energy kind of come out. And inside of the chest was Skinwalker regalia. So there was the skins inside, there was the antlers that were inside, the weapons and washte that this individual would use when he would go out and skinwalk and everything. My brother brought those out, and he showed me the antlers, and he pointed out a particular thing. On those antlers, there was 4 blood drops on the antlers. And for the Yanagloshis, they say for every kill that you have, you put a blood drop on your antlers like that. So this person had taken 4 lives in his time on this earth. So from that point on, you know, they gather up the rocks and the stones and the pictures and the regalia. They put the little items inside of a leather pouch that they have, and we took it back to the homestead, and we started a fire. And so my brother said, you know, this is going to be a little ceremony right here that's going to, in a sense, release the spirit of this buck back to whoever killed it in the wrong way. Because in a sense, when you kill an animal, when you go and hunt and you eat it, there's a little honoring prayer, a little honoring ceremony you do to thank the spirit for its, you know, its sacrifice to be able to feed the family. But the Skinwalker and Yanagloshis do the opposite of that. So this spirit had a lot of angst toward its killer and everything. With that, my brother said, when we do this ceremony, these beings that are around, they might want to come and stop us because they know what ceremony we're going to be doing. While we were getting the fire set up, I remember I was chopping wood, I was getting it all ready, and the sun was, mind you, the sun was already down, it was dark, and you start hearing dog whistles. And dog whistles you hear like psss, and the dogs would start barking because they sense those evil Yanagloshis around. Once they did those dog whistles, the dogs shut up. They didn't say anything, they didn't bark or nothing, and that's how they can get inside of your home. That's when we knew we were on edge. And nearby that homestead was a canyon or a cliff face That was right there. So on that canyon walls, on the right, if you were to go to down the right path, it'll teach you the way on how to become a good medicine man. But if you take the left, it'll teach you how the evil ways on how to be an evil person in a sense. So right in their backyard, they kind of had the training grounds for a lot of these beings. We started the ceremony, and my brother warned me. He's just like, I'm gonna be singing these songs, and I want you to watch my back, because I can't stop. Once the ceremony starts, I can't stop to be able to make sure the ceremony goes good. So if anything comes running at me, you need to handle business and do what you need to do. I said, okay. He started the ceremony, and they had a solar generator at their house, which was about, for the house and the shack itself would have to be like 500 yards, I would have to say, away from it. So they had solar on their home, so they had a porch light. So the porch light was shining down on the home, and you could see the rim of the edge of the light around the home. And while he started singing, when he started doing his ceremony, I saw what looked like to be a figure, a silhouette of somebody walking at the edge of the light, kind of hunched over like this and just walking and just looking at us. I saw one, and another one showed up on this other side over here. I got really nervous, but as my brother, this was starting to be the end of the ceremony when more of them started showing up right there. But as my brother was about to finish the ceremony, they all ran. They ran back toward the cliff face where they were, and there was a huge gust of wind. It was a calm night like this. A huge gust of wind comes when he finishes the ceremony, almost blows out the whole fire. And that's when my brother said that's when that buck went straight for where those skinwalkers were. And over at the cliff face that was about a good mile or two away, you hear a scream, a monstrous scream out there. So I guess you can say the buck got its revenge for the evils that was done against him. So that was
nature spirits
one of
got
my
their
most
two
intense,
heads worth
I would
out
have
of
to
the
say
evil
lightly,
spirits.
encounters I had with the Yanagloshi.
Wild,
Yeah, that's
wild,
crazy.
interesting stuff.
Holy
I'm
shit.
14 years old too.
And 14,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, guess we gotta have you tell another story, man, since you got multiple, because that's wild. Who do you think was the person who had transformed?
The person that was in the shack.
Yeah.
You don't mind putting this if you don't put. Okay.
Yeah.
It was actually this one. So whenever we went against these Yanagloshis or Skinwalkers and everything, it happened in our earlier years
Sensitive
in our
for
prime.
the safety of the people.
Our
and
earlier
individuals.
years in our prime. I'm telling a story. Our earlier years in our prime. So this one was a lot more recent because, you know, when you kind of get old up there in age, you know, when you get to your 20s and all that stuff, you're kind of considered old when it comes to that point. So we were actually up in our homeland in Black Mesa, and this was just a normal family gathering that we were having up there. And, you know, our whole family was there. We were building a whole one together and everything. So at this point, you know, they only have like a one-bedroom home up there. So all my family were there, so they were staying inside. So I was just like, you know what? It's a beautiful night. You see the stars and everything, you know. I'll just sleep in a cot on the bed of a truck. I was like, okay, cool. My uncle slept inside of the truck, inside of the dash and everything, or in the cabin. And so as I was sleeping, you know, it was a beautiful night, nice and cool and everything. So as I'm sleeping, the night goes on, and I notice some noises kind of coming around me, which was kind of weird because we have deer, we have elk, and we have wild horses up there and cattle too. So I started hearing some crunches in the middle of the night. I would have to imagine it was around like 2, 3, 4 o'clock. It was before the sun was actually started to show in the morning. So it was still really dark outside. So I heard this, and I was just like, naturally I kind of just like wake up just a little bit. And right at that point was when I started to feel darkness kind of come in. And if you can imagine the feeling of evil and darkness, it's a weird buzzing sensation. It's a weird heat feeling that you feel. And like I said, it was a cool night, so I was just like, why am I feeling warm toward my back? I was laying on my side, and toward my back on the bed of the truck, I started feeling that. So that's when I woke up. My instincts kind of woke me up, and I was just like, I need to check out what this is. But as I got up, I couldn't move. I was like, F***. So when I tried, whenever I'm out there, I sleep with my weapons or my sword that I have. And I tried reaching for my sword, but I couldn't move my body, and I could hear footsteps kind of come up close to the truck, and I was just like, this isn't my family, this isn't my, you know, anyone good that I can recognize. So I tried reaching for my sword, and I started to panic as the footsteps kind of started getting closer, and everything I had in my body to start moving my arm out of desperation of my life, honestly. You know, I reached for my sword and I grab it, and once I grabbed it, it seemed like that paralysis, that paralyzing effect that was on me went off, and I grabbed my sword and I quickly turned and I saw something dark start bolting toward the tree line and everything. But right before I grabbed my sword, I kind of turned my head like that, and I could see what looked like somebody slowly reaching and had his hand over my head, and he was putting. My camera just died. Oh.
Hold that thought.
Yeah.
Hold
Damn
it. Hold it.
Do you need a battery?
It just went from full battery to 0.
What the heck?
I just changed it out in the car. Excuse me.
We need to run and get it. You might need a light too.
Yeah, here. I'll just go run and grab it.
A light.
Gotta be careful, yeah.
I'll look for snakes.
All right, man. Ran all the way back to the car. You can see it's noticeably darker now that we started filming.
Hell yeah.
All right, you were in the middle of talking about it coming up to you in the truck bed.
Yeah. So right now we're in the time of the spirit realm right now, when the spirits are walking around. So if you see somebody behind me, please let me know.
Will do.
So
Roger.
yeah, so as I started reaching for my sword and I turned around, I saw this hand kind of over me like this, and he was putting something on my head and on my face. So when I grabbed my sword, he turned and ran. So as he ran, I got up and I started banging on the truck for my uncle to wake up. So my uncle woke up and I was like, Yanagloshi. He got up and we started looking around and everything, and he was already long gone. But then he got his flashlight, he looked on me and everything, and he saw a white powder on my face, and that was that washte, the bone powder. So that's one of those things that night it was a family occasion. You know, we didn't go out there for ceremony. You know, I wasn't really expecting it for something like that to kind of come about. So normally when that happens, you go out to face these things, you put ash on, you put these sacred things on. So I was just a normal time, you know, just going to sleep at my family occasion. So I was ill prepared at that time, but now I know, you know, just be careful when you sleep out there in the middle of the night. So that's something that, you know, we had to do a ceremony for me to make sure that I didn't inhale or get sick or from the curse and everything like that. So I always say, when you're on the reservation, be careful sleeping out in a tent or just out in the open in the middle of the night. Yeah, it may be beautiful, but you also have to understand that there's things that run around in the middle of the night, even out here too. So I always gotta say, be careful out there, everybody.
That's crazy. That's wild, dude. Mm. Any other experiences?
This is, I believe, the second or third time they've reused this
eeriest beings, I would have to
but
say,
still an interesting interview.
Encountered and learned about are beings in English called soul eaters. Now, in the spirit world, you know, you have these beings that were made from the Creator that roam around lands like this, who make sure that the spirit world doesn't get too cluttered. Now, when I talk about this, is when people go getting of old age, you know, they meet their time of when they pass away. It's more so scheduled. You know, your family members that are up in the next world, you know, so they say when you get up there in age and you're ready to pass on into the next world, you make your journey. They say a lot of family members, they start seeing old people that have passed on long ago. They say, you know, I see my mom, I see my dad, or I see my brother, somebody who already had passed on. And a lot of people kind of say like, oh, they're just getting old, they're deteriorating, or oh, they're kind of losing their mind. But that's not the case. When it comes to that, they're starting to have one foot in the spirit world and one foot in ours. So when they do pass on, those family members take them on their journey into the next world. And whatever religion that you follow, most of them that I've encountered, they always talk about a white light or something of that nature, to where you're kind of going a journey to the spirit world and you go on from there. Now, there are times when you meet your end at an unforeseen time, and these bugs really like me. They say when you meet your fate, you meet your end at an unforeseen time. A lot of times the family members and the spirits that are out there don't know that you have met your end, so they're not there to help guide you on your journey into the next world. Say you get murdered, say you get in a car crash and you die unexpectedly. You'll wake up. Well, one analogy I like to make is that movie Ghost, with I believe it's Patrick Swayze, and he met his end, and he gets up, he looks around, he's a spirit, but then he sees his body right there, and there are these dark shadows, these dark beings that kind of came out of the ground and started chasing him around, and those in a sense are what we call soul eaters. Now these beings, they come around and they kind of clean up a lot of the spirits that are lost, because in a sense, if you're a wandering spirit, you could be used for evil. You can have your soul captured and taken into the dark markets and sold, or all these horrid things, and be used for so many dark evil ways. So he created those to kind of make sure that that doesn't happen, to make sure that evil doesn't have their way with you. And so when it comes to that, these beings come in all shapes and sizes, and this one being that I met in particular was a soul eater, and to me it creeped me the hell out, because it still gives me nightmares to this day, because we were at a canyon and it was a very, very spiritual night, to where spiritual beings learned how to manifest. As a spiritual site, spiritual evening, all these things kind of lined up to where these spirits could manifest in during my trainings. And I remember seeing this being kind of come out of the darkness, come out of the shadows. And if you could picture a lion, but he had a flat face, but his whole entire body was made of bone. But not only that, the lion's mane was made out of human arms, human legs, and his whole body was made out of human body parts and everything. So it had a really kind of horrible smell to him. Freaked me the hell out, but it's one of those things that we chased it off, because we were doing a ceremony for somebody who had recently passed away in an untimely death. So we had to go out and look for their spirit and everything. But those beings, they can sniff when a spirit is kind of wandering and lost like that. So we had to chase those beings off, and we ended up finding that person and sending them on their way. So that's one of the things. It's just like they all comes in all shapes and sizes. And the part that's freaky is normally people would have guardian spirits, family members that come down and look after them. Guardian angels, in a relative term, will come down and look after the person, protect them against evil beings throughout their life. So in cases like that, you know, they'll be the ones that kind of take them on their journey and everything. But for those that, you know, don't have those things, don't have those protections, those family members, it's scary, because that can happen. So that's where you get a lot of these hauntings as well, is because when a spirit would die an untimely death, they would freak out and start running when they see a soul eater coming their way, and they would run into the nearest home. They would run into the nearest house that's there. So when they do that, they notice that the soul eater can't come inside the home, and they look on the wall, they see a cross on their doorway, or they see a bow and arrow, they see arrowheads, or they see some type of protection on their home that a soul eater cannot come in there. And so that spirit will be like, okay, I'm just gonna hang out here in this house. You know, I'm gonna mess around with these people, just try to get their attention, see if I can get some help. That's where you have like doors opening and closing, see shadows, start seeing people in your home. So that's a lot of times what we come to find out is lost spirits, lost souls end up in these homes, and that's where you get a normal haunting most of the time. So it's just people that haven't made their final journey, didn't have those spirits there to help them on their next step. So that's where, you know, there lost spirits like that, you know, whenever you go to these locations, you always have to be mindful of that, you know, because this is like, there could be a spirit calling for help, but there's also a darker, evil, demonic being that's holding them there. I guess you can say like the Conjuring, when Valak had that old man in that home, you know, a similar case just like that. to where, you know, you would think that the old man is a bad person that's creeping out and freaking out these people, but it's actually a spirit that's calling out for help. So always be mindful of that. Always be, you know, think about the certain scenarios that you could be dealing with in your home. So that's just soul eaters are, yeah, something I typically don't like to run into.
Yeah. I don't think I would either, man. What do you think is your
Not
craziest
exactly the kind of
paranormal
spirit, no.
experience? Like, what was something that was just so profound that it stuck with you?
God, I have a list.
Right.
You ever investigate the Washoe Club?
Yeah, yeah, we did.
Would have to be there. So we went up there for an investigation to go check out the Washoe Club, and this was during our times of investigating and everything. We had a late member who passed away a couple years ago. His name was Pataya, who was there at the time as well. He had type 1 diabetes, but dude was the strongest guy out there. But we would notice that when we would go to these locations that the darker beings would kind of play and affect him and his diabetes that he had in his body. While we were there, we were up on, I believe, the second floor in the doll room. If you remember that room?
Mm-hmm.
So we were in that room, and this is by far, Washoe Club was one of the craziest places that we've been to that had the most SB7 communication that we've had, or at least the most violent, I would have to say. So while we were there, he started getting affected. He started feeling kind of sick. So he asked if he can go outside and just chill by the truck, and we're just like, you have to ask the spirit if you can leave. And out of the doll, it was talking. It was just like, no, you can't go. And we're just like, he said you can't go. He's like, oh, I need to go. And then the doll got upset, and she was just like, I said stay. And he was just like, I can't stay. So as he was leaving, caught on the SB7, it said cut his throat. And as he was walking down those steps, he got a huge pain in his stomach, and we almost had to carry him out and everything. And during that investigation, he ended up getting, he rested outside, but he was just like, screw that, you know, I'm not gonna let anything affect me in that way. He came back in like the badass he was, and we went up to the red room, and he sat down, and that's when he passed out. He was unfortunately, he started going under possession. And so, but we were instructed by our spiritual mentors to let it happen. Normally when stuff like that happens, our crew goes to stop it, but we were tasked, as this was going to be training for us. We had to learn how to overcome the darkness and come out of it our own. So it was hard to watch him go through that, but he had to learn how to come out of it himself, and it got to the point to where we had to step in and intervene. When we were doing performing indigenous exorcism that my brother knows, it's crazy things started happening. So there was a door that's in there, and my brother said to open it, let the air come through. So we opened the door, and as he was doing the ceremony, you see that door go and slam, and it says, you're not going anywhere. So he ended up doing the ceremony. We got him back up and got him back to his normal self afterwards. But just, it felt like a whirlwind of energy coming in from the floor, out, so many different things all at the same time. And just to kind of be there and watch and everything, you would hear, you know, that being come through the SB7 talking about our family and real names. That gave him visions of his family too, of dark things that it would do if he took that home. So that's one of those things we were taught to learn how to break those connections, make those offerings at the end of the investigations to make sure nothing follows you home.
Damn.
Yeah.
I feel every time you finish telling a story, we're like, damn. Every single
It's a lot to
time.
take in.
I actually have one more, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
So have you been to the Gila County Jail?
No.
Which is in Globe?
Uh-uh.
That place right there was one of the first times that we actually met an evil being that was more on the hellish scale, more of a demonish kind of being. And that one was another one that we had an encounter that was really great. SB7 experiences and responses inside of there. So much so when we got to the third floor of the jail, you know, I myself kind of went under a brief possession to where like I was standing there and I kind of just spaced out and my mind kind of just went somewhere else. And we were asking questions on the spirit box, And whenever we go into these investigations, we don't announce that we're medicinal people. We don't announce that who we are in our background as far as for helping spirits. So that kind of gauges to the power, I guess you could say, the power level of these beings that are inside of these places. And that's why we never really use our real names. So my name that I would use is Sean Clen, Warrior of the Shadows. So if the being was able to find out our real names, who we are, where we come from, and everything, that's when you know it's like, okay, we're dealing with somebody who's pretty skillful in their trade. So we were there, and I was kind of spacing out and everything. The SB7 spirit box came through my voice through the SB7, says, use that ghost ceremony. And that right there it was also at that same time our RIO light was really flickering and malfunctioning at that time. And like I kind of snapped out of it, and I was just like, everyone was like, did you say that? I was like, say what? And then they're like, use that ghost ceremony. I was like, no. You look at the footage, my mouth didn't move or nothing like that. So we were walking around, there's these spirits that were calling out to us and like, do you need help from this being that's here? And there's a being that's there called the Mad Hatter. And we would ask these spirits that are there, we're just like, are you stuck here? And it's just like, yes, we're stuck. And it's like, why haven't you moved on? And they would say, God has forsaken us. This demon put it in their mind that there's no hope. There's no, they can't get out or anything like that. And there's some places in this world that you are even cut off from God and the Creator, to where even the angels and those guys can't hear your prayers. Kind of circling back to the lost spirit thing, if you're in a home and all that other stuff and you're a lost spirit, normally you can pray to the Creator and they can come and help you. But there's some times when you get stolen by these evil beings, they'll take you at certain places to where even your prayers can't be reached out. It's so dark, so evil that they can't hear your prayers. You're just completely cut off from the spiritual world. So that's where you kind of go more into the darker things of spiritual slave trade. Kind of like how we have human trafficking, there's the same thing in the spiritual world too. Spirits and souls are used as currency on that side of the spectrum. So this is one of those things to where you would have spirits call out for help, and you would have mediums and everything that would go in and kind of don't really know what they're doing. They would go in there and be like, hey, you're set free, you can go to God now. But you know, they would call upon a light for the spirits to go, but those spirits would be chained to the floor, and they would try to reach it, but that demon had them in there. Look, another battery.
That's really strange.
What?
Another battery.
See, now
I brought another one too, just in case. But that was full too.
So when it comes to the spiritual world, a lot of people think it's kind of black and white when it comes to just spirits, demons, and angels. There's so many different factions of spiritual beings from other dimensions and from our own.
This
and
interview alone has
beyond,
killed
too.
2 cameras.
So it's elaborate. You
Kind of
have
wild in and of
these
itself.
cities of spirits.
Batteries
You
don't die
have,
that quickly.
You know, all these beings that have certain tasks on this world and everything. So that's why whenever we would go investigate, we would try to meet these new beings to try to give new stories of the beings that you interact with. So if you go to the places like this, you know, there's a mountain that's right here. There's guardian spirits that are here. Oh, you have nature spirits, you have desert spirits, you have night spirits that are out right now here too. So you have beings that live in the earth, you have beings that live in the sky, beings of the springtime, the winter time, that's all here. So you have to learn how to deduce those things, but there's also third-party, non-natural beings that come around. You have soul eaters, you have phantoms, you have all these other beings of hell, beings of good. You know, you have tribal spirits that are here and all their spirits that they have as well. And then you also have a city that's right here too with all these different nationalities. So they have their spirits that are here too as well. And they come here to these natural spots and locations of energy where they can meet, mingle. They have spiritual markets. They have all these different things where they can trade and do all these so many elaborate things. And it's a beautiful world. But on the darker side too, like I was mentioning the lost spirits and everything, sometimes soul collectors, soul merchants come and take those beings, and they say they can grab you and put you inside of a pouch with all these other souls. They go to those dark markets and everything. They can sell you to get all these items that they need for whatever things that they're doing. So this location was one of those spots of transferring all these spiritual beings. They would go from this place to the next, to the next, to the next. And so while we were there, we ran a ceremony to where we ended up finding out that this being, his name was Darkus, And what come to find out in our research was he was one of the spiritual captains of a dark lord in hell called Zagan, which was like I think he's considered the king of hell or something. So he was one of his commanders who was looking over a globe and everything, which has a lot of copper mines. And so he said he's said to be the leader of copper, gold, and greed. So over there in Globe, that's where a lot of the copper mines are. And so he was overlooking that area. So the Globe Gila County Jail was one of those spots to where it's already a jail. So you just put the spirits inside the cell and lock them up, get them ready for transfer. So we ran a ceremony to where we pushed Darkest back. We kind of held him against the wall and everything while my brother went room to room, gathered up all the lost souls, took them outside, called upon the spirits, the light, and everything to take them on their next journey. But that's something that, you know, when you go to these locations, you know, it's not as easy as just saying, you know, Lord Creator, come down and take these spirits away. Because sometimes there's an evil being that's holding them there. So you have to know how to push that evil being back to be able to release those spirits to where they need to be with their families in the next world.
Once again, damn. So I guess I just have like one more question. Have you ever heard of, like, going back to the very beginning with skinwalkers, like any stories of people who have actually been killed or, like, you know, hurt by skinwalkers?
And like documented?
Not necessarily documented, but
yeah.
Even oral history?
Yeah. There are a lot of people, actually, a lot of medicinal people. Like how I said, on the reservations and for indigenous people too, missing persons reports are very, very high wherever you come from, especially in the Navajo Nation. Navajo Nation is the biggest reservation on the North American continent itself. So out there, you know, somebody can go missing and no one's ever going to find them. So that's where you would have a lot of missing persons reports to where sometimes their sacrifice ends up being a missing persons report. Sometimes it's not confirmed, but even Navajo Nation police out there, they have a special task force out there that's specialized to deal with more so of the supernatural things that happen on the reservation. So they're out there, they look for Bigfoot, they look for Skinwalker and all that stuff. Whenever people say, hey, they call the police, they have somebody running on their roof and everything, they'll send out that task force that goes out there to look for those things. So yeah, there have been people, unfortunately, who do die from Yanagloshi encounters.
And then I guess, what would you like to dispel, like, rumor-wise about, like, skinwalkers and kind of like all the misinformation that's out there? Because I've seen some videos that describe things very differently than what you are telling us right now.
First off, skinwalkers and wendigos are totally different. That's one of the biggest things I always see in my comment section and everything. And, you know, like how I said, if you're not in the general region of the Navajo Nation, you're probably not dealing with a skinwalker. There's been reports in Utah, Colorado. Our 4 Sacred Mountains go from Flagstaff, one in Flagstaff, two in Colorado, and 1 in New Mexico. So those are the borders of the Navajo Nation itself. So in the general region, you know, you'll run into skinwalkers and everything, but then also kind of down here too with the tribes that kind of mix with the Navajo as well. You know, you might run into Yanagloshis or skinwalkers, but if you live on the East Coast, Canada, Mexico, you know, you're probably not dealing with the skinwalker per se. There's a lot of similar beings that are out there, you know. A lot of people from Mexico tell me that there's a being down there called a Nahualis that's very, very similar. And so that's one thing that I love, is to be able to communicate with these people from different tribes, different races, different religions, and tell their stories of beings where they come from. So like I said, do your research in your local area. You know, either a tribe or race or religion already has beings that's right there. It's very similar, but you know, there's always differences. So that's why I encourage people to go deeper into, you know, it's a shapeshifter, but we're also human. But then there's also races, there's also religions. You narrow it down to your family, and then who you are as an individual. You're unique. The same thing with the spiritual world. They have blends and all these other different things that you have to really deduce to be able to know how to communicate with them right. When you go investigate, you know, you deal with the soul eater. You can't just go up to him and be like, hey, how's it going? You know, there's a certain way you approach it. That's why in our investigations we had such unique interactions with these beings, because each being that you interact with, you have to go about it in a specific way to nurture who they are as an individual. So that's one thing, is just like, just do your research and just know there's more to the spiritual world out there, and just have fun, but be safe out there, everyone.
Awesome, man. Well, after those spooky stories, we got to walk back through the pitch black darkness over there, right towards the coyotes or dogs or whatever the hell. Awesome, man.
No,
So as
that
you
was
can
something
tell,
totally
a
different.
skinwalker isn't exactly something you'd want to run into in the middle of the desert in the middle of the night. But a skinwalker was exactly what we were searching for that evening. And let me tell you, what we ended up discovering and capturing on camera throughout our investigation of Fort Churchill was nothing short of astounding. But before we get into this footage, let me advise you, do not try this at home. Our friends, Josh, Twin, they've all had some very frightening experiences out here. And I talked to Ryan, and he recommended that we come out here because the energy is super strong. And you can recommend experiences out here. All had this at home. Our friends, Josh, Twin, they've all had some very frightening experiences out here. And I talked to Ryan, and he recommended that we come out here because the energy is super strong. And you can definitely
Ryan
feel
from
it
Twins.
already. I mean, look at these buildings, dude. It's so eerie. They're just
Focus. There we go.
I don't know.
And there's already an animal standing outside one of them.
Falling apart. Makes you wonder what it looked like back in the day.
I know, like, what did they look like before they crumbled?
Like, was it a functioning city?
I mean, I'm sure it was a fort.
I guess that's true.
Was it a function?
Fragile? What's fragile?
I don't know.
I don't even understand what that means.
Well, let's do this thing.
Fragile. Must be French or something.
Fragile area. Stay on trail. I wonder if you have to worry about like snakes and shit out here.
Definitely.
You know?
Oh,
kidding me?
probably.
You kidding me? I just wanted to see what this sign says. You know, like, what the hell? Damn, they need to clean this thing off.
Place it.
It's crazy. I don't know. It's kind of
Autofocus cameras.
Just a strange vibe around here, man. I guess let's get the gear and make the walk in. Oh shit, when I just shine my light like this, I just flashed across a pair of eyeballs. There's definitely, I mean, there's gotta be some poisonous snakes around here.
Venomous.
Yeah, there you go.
Venomous.
Give me like a good evil laugh. Oh, fuck. Holy shit.
Okay, buddy. Bleaching his
Wait,
face
I
out.
can do it better.
Wait, hold on.
Okay, that's a little sinister at the end there.
Now this.
Okay, Chuckles. Nope, out of here. Out of here.
What I just captured on camera could be one of our most terrifying catches of all time. And in my opinion, this proves that there is a negative energy, a dark spirit that surrounds this area, and potentially proves the existence of demons. Just check this out for yourself. At this point, it was time for us to head deep into the desert, into the darkness that is Skinwalker Village. We had no idea just how frightening this evening was going to get. And even there at the very beginning, we were already on edge. Like we talked about at the beginning, we're being incredibly cautious this evening because not only are there, you know, the legends and allegations that there are these spiritual beings, you know, like the skinwalkers out here, and also the spirits of those who died whose names are unknown. But there's also snakes, scorpions, coyotes, tons of wildlife out here that can also be dangerous. And we're straight up the only people in this canyon.
Allegedly.
Yeah, only living people, I guess. I mean, it's pretty spooky out here, man. Like, during the daylight, it wasn't that creepy, but now that it's dark...
During daylight, it's a little unnerving just being out there by yourself, but now that it's dark, it's like,
Right.
ooh.
Officers' quarters. Here's spot number 1.
Yeah, I have a feeling that it's gonna be eerie as hell out here.
The sky looks beautiful right now.
I know, right? But dude, when it's pitch black out here, it's gonna be mad
It's
creepy.
gonna be scary as
Like,
shit.
these buildings are just eerie, you know?
They're just shadows.
Yeah, and they're not like your typical abandoned building. And we have no idea of the layout or anything of this property. But there's something about mountains that are just creepy, you know? Like the energy.
Well, return to Witch Mountain, apparently.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to even see. Let me see if I can turn. So, there's ruins now. Right here. These ruins right here. This is all mountain and just emptiness all the way down there. Oh, look, the mess hall.
Bye-bye,
This
mess
was
hall.
like, there's a road that goes kind of right here. And we've seen one person go down it. It's like an hour or so ago, and they were on a motorbike.
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 Sure, brought my own motorbike. Somebody able to get around here faster.
Yeah, this is nice.
If it's a tarantula hole, I just want to scare you. Something's definitely living in it. See how there's like all the shit kicked out from it?
Let me see. Is that a snake hole?
No.
What would it be? Like a mouse?
Maybe.
Let me see.
Maybe a rodent.
Eerie.
I mean, they're all along this thing. Like that one right there. That one's big. That one right
I think those are python holes.
there. Yeah.
All right, guys, so we're here in one of the old barracks where the soldiers who were stationed here would have been living. So assumingly those men who died would have been living here. I know that there's a hospital here that we're going to try and make our way to, but man, we've had some really unsettling stuff happen. Right when I said that, the proximity meter goes off. Jasmine. Oh, and it left.
Yes.
Engaged, devoted Jasmine, it says.
Malicious.
Clearance.
So, we heard a whistling noise from over there, And then what else happened? We heard that whistle, and then there was something from over here
Like a
too.
bark.
Oh yeah, like a oh,
Mhm.
almost.
Daniel?
I need to speak.
Clarence Daniel,
Shut it,
Ouija demon.
He will touch you.
Ugh.
Who is he? Is that Daniel? The
Not
name that you were
the
saying?
man in the mirror.
To finish that out, also, Helen. It feels like we're being stalked a little bit. Like, it's really hard to even explain to you guys on camera. Especially though when you have this light in your face. When I look out there, it's just a sea of black. And once this tiny bit of sunlight goes away, it's gonna be like a fucking sea of pitch black, dude.
Faith.
Faith.
Gotta have faith. Gotta have faith.
Did you hear that? Was that the building?
It was like,
What the f... That came from...
infatuated.
Infatuated? Dude, faith, devoted, infatuated. First of all, to anybody who's here, we're just here to talk to you. My name's Colin,
My name's Connor.
and we want to speak to anybody here at the Fort Churchill. If you were a soldier, a commander,
Nasty.
I'm nasty.
Somebody's
Offended?
Very
We don't
want
want to offend you in any way. We're just here to try speak with you this evening. We also heard, so you're not supposed to say the name of the creature. And a lot of people think that these things go by Skinwalker, and that's the, Americanized, Anglified, whatever, Anglofied. Which one was that?
This.
Version of the word, but we're going to say the real word to try to see if we can get it to come here.
Oh,
If there are any of these
boy.
creatures out here in these mountains. But I'm going to bleep it out so that you guys online aren't exposed to this, because I know we have some
late.
viewers who have indigenous backgrounds. Oh yeah, you said you saw a light outside.
Oh yeah, it was like right over here. I saw like a flash of light.
Where?
Like over here in this direction.
Show it with the camera. Point it out.
You can't really see. And here's the corner of the building. And it was like right here. I saw like a flash of light. And it wasn't a firefly. It was like significantly bigger than a firefly.
This thing just said intimidated as well. So, mortuary
Did my prayer
For the dead.
protections again.
for the dead soldiers.
Alrighty.
Nicholas, another male name.
By the way, you don't need to say them out loud.
A lot of men
You
here.
can Say them quietly.
So we're inviting any soldiers who were stationed here, any indigenous peoples
Just
like
about
the
near the
Paiutes, any warriors. We want to come
Hello,
talk to you
anybody
tonight,
here? Knock on wood.
or we want you to come talk to us tonight.
Oh my god, that scared me.
Revolted. Something doesn't want us here. I mean, honestly, do you think that kid, this is not even trying to be insensitive or whatever, but it's like, do you think that it could be indigenous peoples or spirits that are angry that we're here?
Supernatural disaster.
I mean,
Oh,
shoes.
Isolated supernatural disaster.
I mean, if it is, certainly.
Could be, I mean, we've gotten
there's,
two
possibly
patterns of
a
words
lot
so
of things
far.
in one spot here.
A
yeah.
flame.
Because I mean, also, even if it's not indigenous spirits, remember this fort wasn't it built to like protect like gold prospectors and people like that?
Because of indigenous
So
attacks.
we're coming in, they don't know us.
Right.
We're a threat to indigenous and the other people that were living out here.
Yeah, we're not at all trying to do anything.
What was that?
What?
It was like someone threw a rock up against the wall.
I didn't hear anything.
Really? Certainly serenity.
Huh?
Certainly and
There
then
was
serenity.
another knock or something. Certainly serenity? Alright, let's sit here.
Inadequate.
I want us to sit for a second. A lot of negative words.
Honestly.
Let's sit and just focus
Very
our
negative
minds
indeed.
and say like 10 times. Let's just try Matthew, another man's name. Let's close our eyes and just put out like an energy burst that we want something to come speak with us. And we're going to say the name of the creature, the spirit. I'm going to bleep that out for audiences online. It feels really weird here, man. Like it's like,
Oh, yeah.
Lunatic.
Clementine lunatic. Demon.
no. Ouija demon. I mean, I know some people watch our videos and just say, oh, the apps are bullshit and they're unbelievable. But we believe in them. That's why we use them. And
I will
it's
say
like,
my mileage.
it could be trying to
I keep
get
wanting to say my,
across a
but technically
message that there's
multiple
just
of us
something
have tried them.
inhuman.
Yeah.
And demon's like the closest
Our
word
mileage
that
may vary.
it's
A few of them
I mean,
do tend to shine
especially-
through, though.
I mean, think about it. If we're talking to the settlers,
And I have a feeling it has something to do with depending upon
Friend.
the
machines
machines being used on, as well as how the app is designed.
Or Catholic of the Christian faith. What's the one evil spirit that they can kind of refer things to is a demon. If you see something that can shapeshift into a coyote and other animals, what would you call that? Demon.
Right.
That's the word that they know to get across. And it's saying, I'm a friend, so it is like trying to warn us.
God damn, it's eerie out here. Oh! Was that a bug? I just saw something go like this. I think it was a bug.
It's a bug. It's a moth.
Oh, Jesus, what the f? The fucking flashlight just fell off, dude. What the f, man? What did it say?
How? It's like the
Yo,
spirits-
what the f, dude?
If you knock that flashlight off, can you knock the ball off that's on the railing? Or touch one of these lights in the walkway?
That's so
What the
eerie. Oh, what? Oh.
Interesting. Oh, heard that.
It just went across the room, dude.
Oh,
Here,
I got
here,
full body
here.
chills. Look at my arm.
dude.
Oh my
We haven't
god.
even called it out yet.
I
dude.
know.
And something's warning us. Oh, all right. Come on in and step in here. Whoever you are. We're not afraid of you. We're just excited that you want to speak. Look, it came in.
Oh my god, dude. That's that was f***ing creepy.
Should we do this?
Against better judgment, I
Right.
think we should.
It's time to pull out some recording equipment.
If you don't want us to say it, come touch one of these lights that are surrounding us. You can touch any of them. Let us know that you don't want us to say it. Or if you do want us to say it, touch it now.
was a genuinely weird sequence of events.
Honestly.
The
Very
flashlight,
interesting,
cat
yes.
balls,
That cat ball, that REM pod,
that REM pod, and then the
the proximity
proximity.
meter.
It literally like came in, went over here, went over there, and then went back out.
Like went right in between us.
What did these devices say?
Burst.
Brian, Daisy, Francesca, annoyed.
I mean, it was like a
Interesting.
burst of energy.
All right.
Yeah, let's say it.
Guys.
Okay. We're inviting anybody and everybody in.
You the goggles, they do laughing.
Specifically, Skinwalker spirits. Let's say it together 10 times. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, jeez. They are going full in.
On it.
And now we wait.
Reverberation of time. Pollen.
It sounded like grass.
Are there any evil spirits out here? If there are, come make yourself known.
My name is Victoria. Hi,
Evil
Vicky.
spirits.
Iris.
You hear that?
Breaking every rule today, aren't we?
Call.
Indeed, he's calling out to them.
Call out.
Oh, wow.
That's close.
You hear there's something in the bushes around here.
Shine your light out this way. They're coming.
Bro, what are the odds though, Connor? I mean, seriously, bro. What are the odds? Let's listen.
Haven't heard them all night. Bless you.
Haven't heard them all day. Till just now.
Oh my god, bro. It just said omen.
A bit?
So,
We haven't
Yeah.
heard them all night.
No.
We call out and say, evil spirits.
Repulsed.
We call out and say, evil spirits, make yourself known.
No, we
And
specifically
immediate. No.
we're using the actual indigenous term for these creatures that was given to
I'm
us.
trying to let you not have to censor every other minute.
But the second we say, make yourself known, boom.
Stay right here. So, it's very eerie. I mean, not only is that coyote thing just the timing on that is you can't make that up.
Very particular timing
But
on that,
it's
yes.
like, I don't know if you heard it. I've heard it like a couple.
Enticed.
Enticed. I've heard it a couple of times, actually.
Like
It sounds
moving
like,
around the grass.
but it sounds like literally right outside of this building. Like there's something, I heard it first over here, and then right here when we were hearing that.
That.
Are there evil spirits in this area? Skinwalkers? Demons?
Depressed.
Depressed. If there are, and you see our lights, you can go up and touch.
Holy moly.
Forsaken.
Forsaken. Bro.
And they're over here.
You know what's. Wait, film that way.
Cherished.
Maleficent. Oh. It's like I got nuked on that camera.
Anxious.
Anxious.
I'd say.
What? What? What are you seeing? What's interesting, think about this, man. When we first were coming down, didn't you suggest we go that way first? And then I just was like, I wasn't thinking, and I started walking this way, and we just started coming down here. But that direction is f***ing where those coyotes
I
are,
know.
which is weird that we came down here instead. We would have been right over there by them. You hear that? Also, like, I don't want to get f***ing, like, attacked.
Margaret.
Me either. You think I want to get attacked?
No, thank
No.
you, sir. Easy on the whistle.
If you're out here and you can hear our voice, can you make some sort of a noise and let us know where you are? What was that? Is that you?
Fletcher.
Give us a sign and let us know where you are.
Picture.
Did you hear that? Who's in here with us? Can you identify yourself? Just try to say your name out loud.
What was that?
Broken or bacon?
Broken.
I wish it was
Broken
bacon. Don't you wish it was bacon?
Chaos.
Their name is Chaos?
Hello, my name is Chaos
This is like
Stormbringer.
freakier than I
out.
thought this was going to be.
It is beautiful.
Oh, Barrett. Hello.
Is your name Barrett? If it is, touch one of those red lights.
Again, easy on the whistling. You got wild puppy dogs outside.
Gotta do the creepiest whistle ever. I'm just expecting a coyote to fucking jump through this and just start ripping me apart. I'm an animal lover, but
Beautiful.
I'm not. How fucking weird is that though, bro? Right when we call out for the actual, the given name of this spirit being that's associated with coyotes. Chaos again?
Around.
My boy's about to have a heart attack. Excuse him a moment. About to launch into next week from a standing position. Holy moly.
You were so scared you farted. Holy shit. Oh, bro.
That scared the shit out of me.
Me too, bro. That was a full. If there's anyone else here, they think someone just got fucking murdered over here. Sorry, we're okay. Ah! 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 Oh my god, that was good.
Scared me so bad.
Farted. Bro, that's a new one. Oh my god.
Oh, that's good.
How crazy was that though? Chaos, the fucking flashlight falls off again.
Oh, God.
And you know, it's really weird too. So, we like to try to debunk stuff here, right? And so, yes, it is windy out here. So you could say that.
But it's not that windy.
No, and then in addition, there's a cat ball right next to the flashlight, which is
Awfully,
Yeah, like
there's a
quarter of
much lighter object right there that
And
should
it's
be
not
moving a
moving
lot
a
more.
bit.
no.
So it's still
look at
kind of
this.
weird. Oh, hi. How are you?
The moment we walk away.
Slide.
Bandwagons. Insulted. Are you over here? Oh, you hear that? I keep hearing those little growls. Are you over there? Can you see where I'm pointing?
Carrying.
Oh, right there. What's that box right there?
I don't know. I was wondering that earlier. Should we go look?
I mean, we could. Yeah, damn, it's creepy out here. Whoa! Forgot there's
We're
a
on our toes, man.
whole building right here, too. Also, nothing like being out in the desert with some bright ass lights. So
Like,
if anyone wants
Go completely lights out. I want to see how dark it is.
Hold the
Pretty
bowling
dark.
ball.
I definitely wouldn't see if someone was running up on me.
You almost said it's pitch black.
That keeps scaring.
I know. But I mean, you know what I mean? Like, anybody driving could see our flashlights and just say, "Oh, I want to go rob, or I want to go kill these people," like out in the middle of nowhere with it. It's like, hey, here we are, come fucking rob us.
Yeah. Oh, it'd probably take them a while to have the police come out here. Perfect.
What?
Forgot we were using this one as a mag light.
Barracks.
It just kept turning on.
What?
It was like, bleh.
Really?
Like right over here.
Man, it's actually
It's
creepy
very
out here,
creepy.
dude. I did not expect this. And these buildings just keep coming.
Mess hall. Oh, dude, look at this. The moon behind the rune.
Oh, I know.
Would that say stay here?
Stay here.
No way. Right when we get to a new place? Like, yo, this is creepy as hell.
This is where they used to stay.
I mean, think about it. So, living quarters for one company of 100 men was in 3 buildings. 2 barracks and a mess hall kitchen. So that means that at one point there were 50 men living in each of these small buildings. That's pretty, like, cramped.
50?
Yeah.
Where'd you get 50 from?
Because there's 100 men living in 2 barracks.
Oh.
You know?
I thought 3 buildings.
Oh, that's a lot of people
In a building
crammed
this
in
small?
there. Yeah.
You kidding me?
For the enlisted men, life at Fort Churchill was isolated and unpleasant. They lived in dirt-floored barracks furnished with crude beds and chairs, ate a meager diet of beef, salt pork, bread, and coffee, and performed manual labor for only $13 a month. All they did was fish on the river, drink, and play cards at the post store or Buckland Station. Hey, remember at the beginning you said, I wonder if they had a market and stuff? There you go. Post store.
Yep.
Is it just me, honestly? Or whenever, I feel like every time I hear these stories and they're like, these men ate so poorly, I feel like anytime they actually say the meal, I'm kind of like, I mean, it sounds kind of
kind of good.
Like right now, like beef,
pork, bread, and coffee.
Beef, pork, bread, and coffee sounds pretty fucking fire.
I'm
right
sure
now.
it probably wasn't the amount we would like, though.
Or
Probably.
good quality.
Yeah.
Or
season.
or the quality that you
At all.
want. Yeah.
Well, salt pork.
Yeah.
No
it is.
pepper.
Yeah. What do you think? You want to go back? Or should we just go look at this one down here? I mean, the coyotes are around here somewhere. That's what's eerie. More barracks.
I think it's even scarier with the flashlights that we got.
I know.
Because they're like not that strong. You can only see about like 20 feet out
Yeah,
in front
they
of
add
them.
an element of spookiness. Here we are.
Is that a fence?
You can go look at it.
It's a coyote.
Maybe we should go back. Just one? Yeah, it, let's go back. I don't like that.
No need.
Usually, you know, one howls like a trap, letting the others know. Stop. I'm kind of paranoid, like, genuinely. Oh, listen. I thought I heard him. Let me guess, while we've been gone, our devices have been like levitating off the ground. There's an actual skinwalker in there, and he's like,
Hey guys.
yeah,
Hey guys,
I was waiting for you forever.
where you to
Why you
go?
called for me?
They always run off before I can talk.
Imagine that.
Huh? I mean, he would probably proceed to kill us, but I think the coyote thing's really weird.
It's really freaky. What was that?
What?
Really?
Oh yeah, I heard that too. Like a hiss.
Alright, make sure you're watching the ground for snakes. No. I don't really like the sound of it though. I mean, see, look, the campbell's still up there.
Yeah, that's so trippy.
Poison.
Poison again. Evil follows.
Gratified.
Bandwagons, feeling mad, ask me again later. To thrive, silverware. Evil follows, poison.
Excommunicate.
Blah, blah, blah.
Oh,
Oh, hi. Out of nowhere, in the middle of nowhere.
it's a little. Oh! What the? What was that? What'd you hear? Like a shuffle?
That sounds like someone in the bushes.
Bro, that's exactly what I've been f***ing saying. Whoa, whoa, whoa! I didn't even get close to it, bro. Got the whole thing on camera, how far away I was.
Allured.
The wood?
Allured. Wait.
It sounds like it's right outside. But that's where we just
No.
came from.
I mean, you don't think that would be like a
Weird.
coyote, honestly, right?
No, that's what I'm trying to look.
We'd hear it if it was an animal. Oh!
Charged.
Charged. Wouldn't we? Wouldn't we hear it like walking?
We just walked up here. That means it was following us.
Unimaginable.
Little boy around you.
Faithful.
Faithful.
Hmm.
All of a sudden, a dog. What the f*** is the dog tweaking about?
Wound.
And where is the dog?
I just keep thinking in my head, I'm gonna look out there and there's gonna be some huge red glowing eyes.
Yeah, that would be pretty bad.
Yeah.
Well, should we make our way to another?
Understatement of the evening.
Do you think the ones over there we can go in?
Hiya.
Do you want us to leave? Fiendish.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Do you want
This
us
place
to
is
leave
nothing
this
but negative
barracks?
words.
Decisively.
It's like a stick breaking out here.
Oh, I saw eyes, I think.
Oh God.
I saw eyes. Or I might not have. I thought I did.
Rheumatic.
Don't be saying that shit.
I can't see anything on here. Oh, there's another noise.
I'm freaked the fuck out right now.
I feel like there's noises
All around
like
us.
all around.
Because there is.
Is the near?
Loathe.
No.
No.
Yeah.
No, but you're gnawing
Is that
everyone
what we've been
else.
hearing out in the distance?
Loathe. Doesn't like us.
Because you keep using that word.
What's the problem?
got a bad feeling, dude. I got fucking chills again.
Wait. Oh, there's that noise again. Oh, dude, you do have goosebumps.
I never get goosebumps, too.
Stay right there. I'm trying to focus. I mean, there's something here.
I mean, I'm just getting
So many negative words too.
I'm just getting like really negative energy right now.
I mean, it's weird because it's so many negative words too, but it's not like anything decisive.
Left.
Can you tell us, is there something that we need to be afraid of outside of this building that we're in? You can tell us yes by saying it out loud. Oh.
Aggrieved.
Aggrieved? Can you try your hardest to tell us what it is out there that we need to be afraid of? What is it?
Divided.
Animalistic
Divided?
demon.
Like
Delighted.
I hate that even more than divided. Extinction.
Extinction is waiting for us outside.
Oh, I don't like that.
All right. I'm not trying to bring race or anything into this, but do you not like us, or does something not like us here because we have white skin? Because we have pale skin? Is that why some of the energies don't like us here?
This is sacred land.
There it is again, bro. What the Oh! Are you trying to scare us?
But yes, there it is. Sacred land. They're not happy you're here.
Old mine.
Old mine. Where are you? I've just got a really weird, like, sinking feeling in my stomach right now.
So are you saying we shouldn't even be here right now because this is sacred land? Do you want us to leave?
No.
Why don't you want us to leave?
You are seen.
Like maybe something's seen us and it knows where we are?
Or maybe it's trying to be sweet. Hopefully.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I'm just trying to pretend.
Wait, so thank you, whoever's actually speaking with us. Are you saying that something has seen us and it knows that we're here?
Captain.
Old structures.
Old structure, Captain. And the army? Dude, the barracks? Okay, so we're talking to a captain right now. So you're saying that it's dangerous out there because something has seen us? Is that what you're saying? Is there anything you want to tell us? This device restarted again. God, so still.
I know.
Assimilate.
Captain, sir, if you're here, can you show us where you are?
He's right in the bushes.
Is there something out there?
Gosh darn camera focus.
Me.
No. Is there something? I like the lights.
What does it say?
7.
You want to go out here?
Sure.
Alright, Captain, we're coming.
Shoot for something. Light. I saw eyes again. Where?
Right behind this big bush.
This?
Yes.
Right here?
No, right here.
Oh, that's where I saw him too. Go back up a little bit. That's exactly where I saw him. Would that be a snake? Well, what the would it be?
Hardware.
Oh, that's a little comforting.
I'm just expecting something's gonna run out of the bushes at us.
Oh, did you hear that? I swear that was a high-pitched whistle.
Love.
Whistle. It's so eerie out here, man.
You want to just take the last one on the whole thing?
Should we do a coyote howl and see if they howl back?
I don't know about that.
Oh, I wouldn't
know
want to
about
say
that.
that. They're close enough already, man. Come on now.
Yeah, they'll probably.
Dark presence.
They're gonna be
Dark
like,
presence.
oh, look, our friends. Let's go have a snack.
I mean, dark presence though. All right, so whatever's here, bad entities here, dark presence, bad. How do you get the same exact, pretty much response on two different disconnected devices developed by two entirely different people?
That is strange.
Okay, so we've heard that there's a bad presence or spirits here. Before we go, Captain,
Or soldiers.
or soldiers or anybody, can you tell us what that is?
No.
Is it a skinwalker or a...
Abandoned station.
Yes.
Abandoned station?
Yes, abandoned station.
So you're telling us we need to leave?
Right when I asked if that's what it was, and it said yes.
And an abandoned station. Like, fuck, get out of here.
So it is a
They've
Skinwalker?
moved. That came from over here.
No, I heard it from right there, bro.
Oh, God.
Where we're about to walk next.
That one's big. I don't even know if I want to go over there.
Is it dangerous to go over there? This camera's about to die.
Okay. Just keep that rolling.
Before we go, can you tell us?
I mean, dude, how
Suddenly.
weird, dude. Right when we say, is that what it is? Yes, and they
Yes. Abandoned station.
and then they. Do coyotes attack humans?
They can. God.
You hear that? Just what I need to get fucking mauled by a coyote. Seriously. All right.
By coyote
Thank
and fought
you.
over by the
So-
bear.
At this point, we're gonna pack up and head to a new area to continue investigating.
Crawling.
Wish us luck. Growling.
Perfect.
Fun.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you to whoever's in here.
Get attacked by a
Just here
coyote
from
and
the
mauled by
corner.
a bear.
Welcome.
Hey.
That'd be dope. Also, I'd probably scream. Bro.
Yes.
Dude. You waited too
And we
long.
stopped recording on the
1
main
minute too
camera, and
long.
we were just about to cut, dude. Right then,
Mm.
Skinwalkers around.
God damn it.
So it's true. There are Skinwalkers around. People really don't get it. Like we're way out in the middle of nowhere. Like the goddamn mountains, dude. Like guys, look at that. That's pitch black. There's no civilization over there. This is just like. Is it dangerous for us to leave?
Certainly.
Oh boy.
All right. Well, I guess it's time to leave.
Oink scoop. Get pounced on the way.
Alright, so the first time we got here, we went down there. Now we're going down here, towards the coyotes. More officers' quarters. Should I look at it? Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Officers' quarters are kind of big.
I know. The tall buildings are kind of eerie.
Another officer's quarters.
6.5 star. Luxurious life.
Huge. Commander's office. Ooh.
So we got officer's office. Little eerie.
Commander's office.
Commander's office, yes. Storehouses. Within view of the guardhouse to discourage thievery.
Huh.
Nice. Don't get any ideas.
I don't think there's much to steal anymore.
Oh, we're definitely getting eaten alive back there.
God.
That one's creepy back there. I bet it is. Hospital. Well, we can walk in here. What?
See a little mouse
Where is it?
right here in this hole. See his tail?
Uh-oh.
Big building. I wonder how many people died in here. This is a big building. Mm-hmm. Does it go deep down there? Careful. Is it a pit? Should we do a DR60 in here?
So, we're here in the hospital building. Obviously, if there were soldiers stationed here and they were injured, they got sick, this is where they would have come, and this is where they would have died. So, I would imagine this area would have a high amount of paranormal
High
energy.
chance of getting some goodies, yes.
And this is where we were hearing those coyotes from, is in this area. So before we start, just to remind everybody where we're at, I just want to say hello. My name's Colin.
My name's Connor.
You hear that?
Is that some sort of weird video corruption, or is that?
And as a
filter you
reminder,
decided to put it
we
on that
want
thing
to
for some
speak
reason?
to the
Here we go again.
What will you do if I say the name?
Apparently, we're gonna have to haunt your ass because you're just poking that bear with a stick.
Do you not like that we're out here right now?
Someone kept warning us of evil spirits. What are they?
Is it dangerous for us to be out here?
How many people died in this hospital?
How long have your spirits been here?
Is there anything else you want to say to us? I kept feeling like I was hearing like a lot of stuff, like just out loud out here. What did you hear?
The same shit.
But like, what were you
It sounded
hearing?
like someone scratching on the walls at one point. It sounded I heard like a whisper from out this window.
Me too. I thought I heard a whisper too. Here.
What will you do if I say the name? Do you not like that we're out here right now?
I don't know, happy chappy.
Don't say that.
Someone kept warning us of evil spirits. What are they? Is it dangerous for us to be out here? How many people died in this hospital?
There's a lot of growling sounds, if anything.
How long have your spirits been here? Is there anything else you want to say to us?
Nope, not even that.
Way
A
more
lot of
quiet.
shit.
Well, yeah, I mean a lot of phrases, but way more quiet than usual. You know what's fucking really weird though? When we were doing that session, dude, there's like a chill in here. I had a ringing just come into my ear so loud, and it was like I just felt this thing like really bad energy. It's like, bro, all my hair's on end. Like it just randomly, like while listening to that, it felt like it like walked, or like just something shit.
Like in here?
Yeah.
Next to you?
Yeah, it felt like my ear was. It was like weird.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I got like just a we should like get out of here vibe.
Oh.
Yeah. It's like we should leave this building.
Okay.
I don't like the cut of this building's jib.
Did you hear that? I don't know. What do you think? Or should we do this? Just
You want to walk back and do it on the bench?
yeah, let's just do that. I mean, dude, this mountain
I know.
is so eerie looking. Hold up, turn your light off. Let me see if I can get it. Yeah, look at that. You can see it on camera. It's like a huge foreboding mountain.
Ours, dude. Turn that light off.
Oh no, you can.
There you go.
Alright, which is so small.
Makes me feel small and
That was
insignificant. Of course, I always feel small and insignificant.
How many snakes you want to bet are right here? 1,000.
2,000.
You couldn't pay me any amount of money to go running through that. Hey everybody, it's Colin here. Thank you for watching today's video. Hello to all the new subscribers and hello to the rest of our beautiful, wonderful
Congrats
spectator of the
to
show. Smash
anyone
that
for
like
the
button, consider
handout, for the
5
grab
and comment
bag.
thank you for listening to my little Alright,
On the live show.
Ready?
I'm ready.
And back at it. Our last 20 minutes.
Cheesecake. Give us a chance.
I don't know. I've been
whoever's here,
kind of pseudo creative
I
with
want to
some cheesecake
remind you,
myself.
my name's Colin,
Been
this
curious.
is Connor. We've just come to speak with you.
It's been a while since I had anything with
No!
cheesecake.
Hold up, I'm gonna roll an photo clip.
But not right now. I'm so destitutely
Can
money.
you tell us, are there
No.
We know who's suffering, right?
skinwalkers slash in this area?
We are.
That's what you are?
Following me, ain't you?
We're kind of on the look or on the hunt for skinwalkers, like that's what we've been looking for, but who are you? Can you tell me who you are?
Did you do that?
I'm shining a light out around right now, looking for anything that might try to hurt us. Who are you?
Oh, Lord. Please go.
Go where? What was that weird? I saw a light on this camera.
Yeah, I saw that flicker too. That was weird.
Constant battles.
Battles here? Are you talking about with indigenous people?
The power returns.
What do you mean by that? God, it's creepy out here, dude. Can you tell me who you are?
The president can wait.
Sounds like you're somebody who was stationed here. Were you stationed here?
Sure enough. I salute that.
Oh shit, so it's a soldier. Did you die here? Is that why you're still here?
Something to keep in mind.
Is that true? Did you die here at the fort?
Those Indians.
So you did. What happened to you? I guess, like, why are you still here?
Who are you?
My name's Colin. This is Connor. We're just trying to hear your story.
I hope it lasts.
What lasts?
Heart attack. The battle was fought. Yeah, there were a number of different battles here. I want to ask you though, are there angry spirits here? Because people were talking all night about angry spirits. Maybe it was you telling us. Yes. You are suffering for it. Well, nothing's allowed to follow us or attach to us. But somebody pushed me. Somebody pushed you and that's how you died? You were killed by somebody? Look at me. Where are you? Behind him? Where are you? I'd like to see you. Horses and men, or nothing after. I mean, this is actually crazy how accurate all this is with the time period. So you were pushed and you died here. Did you die during a battle or just during day-to-day life here at the fort? That's all of us. Okay. Is your body buried around here somewhere? Maybe you weren't moved when the other soldiers' bodies were? I'd offer these services. So, were you a soldier or were you like a trader, like a merchant? That's crushing. Being a merchant, it was hard work? Doctor. I feel like I'm being watched. Can you tell me, are there coyotes in this area right now? Yeah. Where are This is frustrating. I know, but you're doing a really good job. What do you see right now? What do you see? Do you see me waving this light around? Do you see that? Just a few questions. Yeah, that's all I have. Can you tell me what you see? What do you see right now? More of them. Who's them? Who are these evil spirits around here? Can you tell me who they are? Feeling saucy. Are there skinwalkers, Yanagloshi around here? Indigenous spirits? The land was developed. Yeah, I think that's what led to some anger, obviously. And a lot of pain and suffering and trauma and death. People left the land. Well, it's interesting. You may think that, but they were actually... The people who once lived here were forced out of here by the people who ran this fort. I'd rather die than leave your home? You see, it's a special rule. What's the rule? This is very intelligent. This is pretty crazy, actually.
Yeah, pretty good quick responses.
What's the rule? Decisive.
Oh, there are eyes right there. Oh no, that's a sign.
Well, so your rule was you had to be decisive and you had to make quick decisions? Any religion. That's what America was built on. You're free to practice whatever. Like someone coughing. Are you the only one that's here?
Or are there indigenous spirits here as well? People who were killed in this area. I've even heard stories that this area's had a curse or a hex.
Just a little.
Yeah, like, obviously this land was stolen.
I'm no killer, baby.
So you didn't kill anybody, you don't think, but you were killed here. You were pushed down and you died?
It's something bigger.
A bigger picture here? What do you mean?
You know what I say?
It's just a feeling of being watched around here. It's so creepy.
Just don't forget.
What do you not want us to forget? What are you talking about?
Go back. Here.
You want us to come back here?
Do you understand?
Not really. I wish I did. I'm sorry that you're still here.
They walk with you.
Are you talking about the dark spirits of this area? They walk with you, they follow you.
In heaven.
Oh, you're talking good spirits follow you to... There was just a snap of a twig.
Oh.
Who's watching us right now and following us?
It's in the world.
What do you mean by that? Was it something that was created?
Around us.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's a little bit eerie. What's around us right now? What is it? Is it an indigenous spirit?
Sorry, some things people would pay not to see.
I'm gonna charge you.
Uh-oh.
For what? So you are a merchant or like a trader, yeah? You weren't a soldier, you were more of a merchant or a trader?
It's alive.
The thing that's following?
That's mine.
So, but let me get this straight. So you're a merchant who was killed in this area, or a trader, and...
Leave tonight.
Yeah, we're going to. But you're also warning us that there's something that walks with us? Somebody's been talking to us.
Yes.
Wow. Can I ask what your name is, please?
It's our sins.
That's what keeps you here, is your sins?
I love it. To the day I died.
Did you ever kill any indigenous people?
Oh! Oh shit, something touched my ear.
It's okay, we're almost done.
That scared the fuck out of me. It like touched like right behind my ear. Oh my god. That freaked me out.
But, so you're saying that you enjoyed killing indigenous people then?
I'm sorry.
Well, if you're sorry and you repented, I don't know how all this works, but I would imagine that you would have been allowed to cross over, or you would have crossed over. Do you not actually feel sorry?
Oh, that's sad.
Did you ever take part in massacring any indigenous peoples?
Come on.
I know you probably did. Maybe that's why some of these spirits are here, because they're protecting their original homelands and the places that they loved. Is that... Someone just tapped on this sign.
Yeah.
So it is a protector spirit here, but maybe it doesn't want to kill and hurt people. Is that true? It just wants peace on its land? Are you laughing because you think they'll never get peace?
Get real.
Like you won't let them have peace? Is that what you're saying?
You know.
No, I don't know actually. That's why I'm asking you.
No matter what.
We're gonna have to get going soon. Is there anything else you can tell me about your life or your name so I can try to find relatives of yours or get your story out there? Anything else?
Very shallow.
You're in a shallow grave? Is that what you're saying?
I love you.
Well, I don't know if I love you. But I think honestly, if you want to move on, you have to admit that slaughtering the people that used to call this place home was a bad thing. And that you did some bad things if you participated in that. Maybe doing that will help you to move on. But if
It's a private policy.
well, it may have been what they told you to do, but that doesn't
Thank God.
it doesn't make it right.
I'm afraid of heights.
Well, that's weird, getting pushed and then afraid of heights. Anything else you want to say before we're done?
Dirty mouth.
Dirty mouth.
God. Throwing a flashlight at me.
Sorry, I didn't want to get up. That was really interesting, man. That was really interesting.
I felt like I was all over the place.
No, it was like clearly one spirit.
Really?
A dude
Very
who was a
good responses.
trader who used to work here,
Trader, like a
merchant or
Okay.
something. And he used to trade and bring goods here, but he, like, I believe, participated in killing some indigenous people and would not apologize about it and didn't even think it was wrong. So that's why I was saying, if you maybe the reason you're stuck here is because you won't admit that it was murder. And then it gave me a whole different perspective on the indigenous, whatever you want to call it, that's here, that's a protector. Like, maybe it's not this like scary skinwalker thing.
Yeah.
And it's more like just a spirit that was obviously, like, their homeland was taken and they were slaughtered. And some of those massacres around here, they killed infants and babies and mothers. So it's like, maybe it comes off as scary because it just wants to protect it again. It was really interesting. It gave a totally different perspective at the end of this video, and I feel kind of calm now.
Very
The thing I'm
interesting,
worried
yes.
about is coyotes. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you to anybody who was here. We really do want to say thanks.
I'm just joking. Yeah, thank you everybody for talking to us, to the coyotes or skinwalkers. Sleep good. We are nice people. We don't want to take your land.
Yeah, we're leaving.
Yeah,
We're not taking anything with us.
exactly. All right.
All right.
Good night.
A long walk home.
At the end of the day, this location was incredibly interesting. It has a magnificent aura of its own. This is a place with so much history. And to be honest, so much history that we don't really even know. How many people died here at Fort Churchill? How did they die? What happened to them? Are there more bodies buried in the nearby area? Is it true that there's a skinwalker or some sort of indigenous elemental haunting the grounds, protecting it or trying to get revenge for their slain ancestors? Those are questions to which I don't have answers. But I did find it very interesting how the energy and the activity that evening changed around. At first, it was utterly terrifying, and you could feel a haunting, dark, heavy presence hanging in the cold desert air. And yet, by the end of the evening, I was sitting there with Connor, having a full conversation with somebody who, according to them, used to be stationed at the fort, who honestly seemed like a somewhat okay person. I mean, I'm sure they did some pretty terrible things, but it wasn't a scary haunting. And that's the nature of the paranormal, in my opinion. Everything can change at any moment, and that's really because none of us understand exactly what we're dealing with, what we're capturing on camera, or what we're investigating in the first place. One thing I can tell you for sure, though, is that Fort Churchill in Nevada is incredibly haunted. It's a place where you can feel the spiritual energy lingering in the air, and I'd love to make a return trip one day. But until then, thank you everybody for watching this evening. I do hope you enjoyed today's video. We will be back next week with another episode of The Paranormal Files. I'm your host, Colin Browen. I'll catch you next week, and stay spooky.
Different haunted locations with two different skeptics. Interesting. With that over, that is our Paranormal Files for this week. So, I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all for joining me with watching this one, and saw heard some interesting stuff. Saw a few interesting things too, but mostly I heard some interesting tales being woven here. So that's it for now. Thank you all again for joining me on this, and I will see you all again next time. Pleasant dreams.